So the last piece of information here is the Deputation archive. A lot of people have watched a lot of the deputations since the first one in Peterborough. And I put a disclaimer because I don't want to have to take these videos down, but there are some inaccuracies in those deputations because we didn't know. We're on the right track. We have the best intentions, obviously, and we're learning different information. So it is kind of a bit of a confusion happening in that first year. And now we're like, as far as KICLEI goes, I'm taking a specific pathway that I think will get us the most results and wake up people and break the mass psychosis and lay the groundwork for the deeper system reforms that we all know are needed in our country. So here's a bit of a disclaimer that the deputations before March 2024 contain some inaccuracies to be mindful of when watching. For one, you'll notice that that myself and others, we state that the Municipal Primer restructured our local government. And if you read this, and I read it over and over again, because this is what I originally read, that the Municipal Primer restructured our local government. And I read it over and over again, and I was like, no, it didn't. This is a blueprint to achieve sustainable development, and it's completely prescriptive, and it says nothing in here about our mayors partnering with the CAO or anything like that, right? So I really want to be clear that this Municipal Primer did not do that, okay? I've read it 50 times and it's not there. The Municipal Primer did not partner our local councils with the Municipal Service Corporation. The mayor and the chief administrative officer always had a partnership. That partnership existed before 1994. There was always an incorporated aspect to our municipality, and the council is still the council of the corporation of the city. And it is the governing body of the municipality, the custodians of its powers, and the council alone can exercise the powers of the municipal corporation either by bylaw or resolution. So they've tricked our councils, they've bound our councils, but the council still have the ability to say no, okay? Like the meme goes, and then the people said no, and then the councilors said no, okay? So they still have that power. They are still the executive board, and yes, they have deferred their responsibilities, but they can take back those responsibilities from the CAO. So not all is lost, okay? And yes, the Municipal Primer is not a binding document. It is the Municipal Primer states within it that it is not intended to be prescriptive, meaning that the councils have a choice whether to implement these programs, and in that choice to implement, they are holding the liability for doing so because the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Government of Canada have waived liability. So the only ones holding liability are the ones endorsing it. And that's why the Partners for Climate Protection program is constantly asking the council to endorse these programs and their plans and so on. So, so I have here that after the first deputation, Sheila McFarlane drafted the POGG primer, and that one is focused on the public-private partnership, the partnership between the mayor and the CAO and the councilor's oath. So she's looking at that aspect of it, which is wonderful. People like that needs to be done. And this has led to many deputations stating that the Municipal Primer restructured the local government. And I think I need to follow more where she's going with that. But so there's a lot that I agree with in there, as far as the UN agenda being implemented at the local level, but the Municipal Primer did not do this. So I'm still looking to see where in the paperwork the mayor and the CAO well, we know that there are two signatures sign off on everything, but it's not the municipal primer. That's what I want to be clear on. When people are watching the deputations, we need to stop saying that the municipal primer restructured it, because it didn't. So that's all. It's the only that's the only issue there. And certainly our local council chambers have turned into UN field offices. And I believe it's because of these programs. So the KICLEI initiative is not the POGG, and the POGG is not the KICLEI. Okay. So I very much respect Sheila's work and what she's done, but there are two different initiatives happening at that local level. And I know Sheila would appreciate me saying this just as much as I need to say it, because our work needs to be kept separate. I need to be able to talk about the municipalities. I need to be able to talk about the UN directive programs and climate change and the sustainable development goals. Sheila's work is looking at a different aspect, and in that law versus legalese. Okay. So, and I'm hoping that with KICLEI, we can pave the road to the system reforms that we need to see in the future, and to till the ground and to pick out those climate change rocks and break down that mass psychosis when it comes to climate change and all of that. So KICLEI is focused on how local councils are endorsing partnerships with UN directive programs and sustainable development action items. KICLEI seeks to educate councils on the disadvantages of UN directive programs' aims, rationale, and recommendations, and to empower councils to rescind previous resolutions to participate in these programs. So please keep that in mind when viewing the original deputations. Okay, we've learned a lot over the last year, and it's fascinating to watch the deputations as they've developed. And yeah, I think that now that it's everyone, both doing the POGG and the KICLEI initiatives, would get better at making our recommendations clear, we're going to move ahead in a very positive, effective direction going into this next year. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to see these deputations and the recommendations being made and to see what the council does.